This is Equatorial Guinea, a really small country in Africa bordering Gabon and Cameroon that claims to be equatorial, but actually doesn't have a single piece of land on the equator, although they do have a 17 square kilometer island on the other side of the equator, home to 52,000 people, or about 0.4% of the population. Equatorial Guinea is an anomaly in Africa because it's quite a bit richer than the rest of the continent. Wait, never mind. But rewind to between 2008 and 2014 and it was about as rich as Portugal and Czechia at around the same time. To put it simply, in 1996 they discovered oil, and where there is oil, there is a lot of money to be made. So Equatorial Guinea did the really smart thing and exploited it for profit, becoming the third highest oil producer in sub-Saharan Africa within just 8 years. As of 2009, oil and gas made up an absolutely insane 98% of total exports, and while basing an economy entirely off of one thing is a really bad idea due to the possibility of that industry going sideways, more on that in my video titled The Rise and Fall of Nauru, they do also have loads of untapped minerals that they do plan to fall back on when oil runs out. Now, it's important to note that the country doesn't actually have a lot of money outright, but they are pretty small with a population of 1.27 million as of 2017, which means that they are actually richer per person. So Equatorial Guinea got rich, and really fast. To put this into perspective, this is the GDP growth of the current fastest growing economy in the world, and this was Equatorial Guinea in 1997. But per capita income on its own can be quite deceiving. To get a full picture of how developed a country is, you need more statistics such as education and life expectancy. The Human Development Index, or HDI, mashes these things together to create a number between 0 and 1. 0 means that everybody is starving to death, most people have an IQ less than the number of fingers on their left toe, which is just a stub at this point due to widespread leprosy, and people are dropping like flies from preventable diseases. While 1 means that most people live to see their 80th birthday and everybody is decked in equipment raided from Area 51. Now, if we recompare Equatorial Guinea to the Czech Republic and Portugal, except this time factoring in HDI, the difference is really quite stark. In reality, Equatorial Guinea's development is more on the level of Kenya and Bangladesh. This is because while the GDP per capita is decently high, the life expectancy and overall quality of education are fairly big issues still. The general population still have less than ideal living standards as roads are poorly managed, and reliable electricity is a privilege, as even the largest city, Bata, has frequent power cuts. The only city that does have somewhat consistent power is the capital Malabo, which is also one of the gloomiest and depressing places on Earth. It is pretty much the same issue with running water, and this can be mostly blamed on terrible infrastructural maintenance as a result of poor leadership, and shows that high per capita income does not automatically fix a country's problems. This right here is Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo, and he became president in 1979 when he overthrew his uncle in a coup and sentenced him to death for his crimes. The most notable of these crimes is the genocide of the Bubi people, an ethnic group indigenous to Bioko Island. Anyway, this guy's probably high on the list of crazy people. He's been called Africa's worst dictator by journalists. He's proclaimed himself a literal god in 1993, and he ensured that streets in towns and cities commemorated his coup, and he's even been accused of cannibalism of his enemies to assert dominance and gain power. If all of that isn't enough to prove that he's a dictator as opposed to just being a shitty president, in every single election he's consistently received 98% of all votes, with one electoral district having given him 103% of the votes at one point. So in a nutshell, things in Equatorial Guinea likely won't get any better until there's a change in leadership, but hey, at least it's still one of the richest countries in mainland Africa, although the first and second spots in the Africa region as a whole have been taken by the Seychelles and Mauritius respectively. But anyway, that's the end of today's video here. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and possibly even subscribe for more. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you next century for another video.